But today, I'm the greatest of all time. Thank you.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Same us for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'll ever stop it.
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top,
I'm always flirting with pain, she like to hurt me and maim. I'm always working to change, but she's still lurking the same. I keep on building a dynasty while the haters be trying me, but they hate from inside.
All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Unscripted here on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. I'm your host and producer this afternoon, Logan Landers. Join me to do a preview of the 2024 NBA playoffs. Helping me out, my right-hand man, Jay McLovin. What's up, Jay?
Hey, how you doing, Logan? It's good to be here, man. And I'll tell you what, these NBA standings are they're crazy when you look at them. I don't know if I would have predicted some of these teams to be where they are at this point in the season, to be honest with you.
No, you're not wrong, and it has been a wild season in the NBA, Eastern Conference, Western Conference, teams who have done well, teams who have fallen off a cliff and have really hit rock bottom. But we're here to talk about I guess you could call them the creme de la creme, the top 10 teams in each division, each conference. So before we get into it, though, if you guys enjoyed the episode, give us a like, follow, share, and subscribe on social media, as you can see here. Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube, and on Twitch as well. You can also go and check us out on LinkedIn. We are over there putting in some good work. And also, if you want to come help out the network, be a part of it, or just chat with us over there, that is the best way to do so besides the other social media as for mention. Well, Jay, let's get into it, man. Let's talk the NBA playoffs. First and foremost, though, we got to talk play-in tournaments. Those are beginning right around the corner, or if you're watching this on Roku, on our Sunday morning show on Northeast Streaming Sports, it's already happened. So you can see if we got it right and or wrong. First two games kicking off tonight. We got up first the Los Angeles Lakers, number 7, taking on number 8, the New Orleans Pelicans, 7:30 tip-off. Let's go ahead and break that game down and talk about who we think can win. So I mentioned the 7 and 8 seed. Let's look at their records a little bit closer. When you look at the NBA standings for this 2024 season, the Western Conference, man, was just a doozy. It was tough. If you played out west, you didn't have an easy game. I say that these teams are 7 and 8, but they both come into this over 10 games above 500, which in the East, they would be, I believe, a 5 seed or right around that. So it's not like they had bad seasons. They had winning records, but here they are, Pelicans, Lakers. Let's break it down. Jay McLovin, talk about this ball game and these two franchises.
Yeah, so clearly this is going to get put back on the heels of James and Davis, and can that duo outlast what's going to go down in New Orleans? I got to tell you, man, both of these guys are listed day to day, but I think their whole career at this point going forward, it's just always going to read day to day. So I don't know how much faith to put into that. I think this game is going to come down a lot to D'Angelo Russell. You know, in past previouses, D'Angelo seems to disappear a little bit in the playoffs. Is this guy going to actually be there in the playoffs this go around? Rishi Hachimura, I think he'll be fine at that power forward spot. James will be fine as long as those guys come out rested, and I think they are getting enough rest. The ones that worry me though is D'Angelo Russell. I think Austin Reeves, AR-15, he'll do what he does, but D'Angelo is just a hit or miss kind of guy. He's either going to give you a lot or he's going to give you nothing, and that's really what I think is going to come down to for the Lakers is at that point guard spot. What kind of play are they going to get out of D'Lo?
Yeah, well said. When I look at these two games here, or these two matchups, Zion has looked good this year. He's been healthy. He's been on the floor. And we're finally starting to see some of that potential that we talked about for 4 years pay off, which is always nice to see. You also have some really good players like CJ McCollum. You've got, of course, as I mentioned, Zion. You got Valanciunas. You've got Ingram. So, I mean, New Orleans has a pretty good roster all in all. Their starting lineup is good. And for the Lakers, the main two guys we talked about them is obviously LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Those two are going to be the guys up front bearing that workload. Also, another thing, too, Los Angeles, a little bit banged up, missing 3 players, including Christian Wood and Jared Vanderbilt, as well as Jalen Hood-Schifino. So a couple players that they won't have in rotation or just as decoys or whatnot. Meanwhile, New Orleans come into this game fully healthy, no players listed on the injured reserve. So it's really just, I think, a tale of really, Jay, who wants it more. These two teams are, I would say, pretty evenly matched. Obviously, the records indicate that as well. We'll just see who has the most stamina. But I like what you said, though. We know the star players. We know that 9 times out of 10, they're going to have solid games. But especially in the playoffs, it's what are your role players? It's what are your guys 3 through 5? What are your bench players going to do to help you out? And that's what I think is going to be a crucial element in this game is whose bench is going to be deeper and who is going to just have more stamina in this matchup. Now,
I mean, that really is it, right? One more thing I want to point out. The Lakers did beat New Orleans on the last matchup 108. Yeah. And that's not something to take lightly. I mean, those guys actually did pretty damn well with LA. So I think for LA, can these guys stay healthy, though, throughout the whole series? That's really going to be, for me, the biggest thing is can LA stay healthy and will D'Lo actually produce? That's the only way I see them getting past this New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game, though. Both these teams, when you look at points allowed per game, the Pelicans give up 111. The Lakers, a little bit worse, 115. So it's going to be a higher scoring game. It's really just going to be who wants it more. So final prediction, Jay, who's moving on? Who's getting this seed here? Is it going to be the Pelicans or the Lakers?
Yeah, I'm going to give this to the Pelicans. And the only reason I'm going to give this to the Pelicans is I just don't think that James and Davis can stay healthy throughout this entire thing. And I just don't know I believe enough in D'Angelo. I think this is Zion all the way and Ingram and company, man. And Valanciunas, he really does have to step up at that center spot. That 2 points he got or he put up against the Lakers last go-around, that's not going to get it done. So he's going to have to definitely, make his presence felt. And that's going to where it's going to go. But I do think, though, at the end of the day, though, I think that this is going to go down Pelicans.
All right, and let's look at the other matchup here tonight. That is going to be over in the Western Conference once again. Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings.
It's going to be a good one.
It is. This one's going to be a good matchup also. Sacramento 46-36. Golden State also 46-36. Golden State comes into this game a little bit hotter, 8-2 in their last 10. Just kind of had that last-minute fury to get to the play-ins. And Sacramento, kind of a fall from grace, Jay. I mean, we know that last year they were a very high seed. I believe they were the 3 seed, if I'm not mistaken. And they still have a chance. They're still playoff worthy, I guess you could say, but definitely not where they wanted to be. And as we know from the Warriors, they've been having to recover really ever since their last finals win 4 or 5 years ago. So when you look at these two teams here, Sacramento, Golden State, obviously much like New Orleans and Los Angeles, they play each other a lot. They know each other very well. And this is going to be a good matchup, I think. But I'll kick it over to you. How do you think this one's going to play out? 10 o'clock tip Eastern Standard, Golden State, Sacramento. Jake, give us your breakdown.
Yeah, like I think you noted earlier, this is not the same Golden State team that we're used to. Clay is not the same Clay he used to be, in various reasons. I really like what Sacramento's doing over there, man. Darren Fox and Sabonis and company, Murray. I mean, I like what they're doing over there, man. And I really think that this Kings team is going to take it to Golden State. And I'm gonna go with the Kings on this, man. I think the Kings are going to take Golden State.
This is going to be a good battle. This is going to be a really good battle. When I look at these two teams, obviously you see Golden State, and they clearly have the pedigree, the experience, whatever word you want to use to describe it, they have it. They've got championship aura. They've got a ton of guys, a lot of individual success as well. And then when you look at Sacramento, they're, I would say, more of a team aspect. They have some good players, don't get it wrong, obviously De'Aaron Fox. But they need more of a team effort as opposed to Golden State, I would say.
Yeah.
And I say that because, look, we know that Steph Curry can take over playoff games. It's happened many a times before. This could be one of those nights. We know Klay Thompson has had a rough couple of seasons. He's a different animal in the playoffs, Jay.
Yeah.
We've seen it time and time again. Some guys just kind of show up in bigger lights and bigger venues. And obviously, you've got Chris Paul, who is a veteran who has struggled in the playoffs. But maybe with a new team, maybe that could right the ship now that he doesn't have the full weight on his shoulders, per se, now that he can give it to other guys. Sacramento, I think, a place that they are going to really need to dominate if they want to win is down low. And that's with Domantas Sabonis. He has been arguably their best player for a minute now. Obviously, De'Aaron Fox, I mentioned, is also a superstar player. But Sabonis, Jay, is someone who I don't really hear get talked about a whole lot. And he is a very solid player. I think that he is going to have a good game. He's going to have to lead them in rebounding as well, because we know that Golden State, usually they go with a smaller lineup, but they do have some guys there that can help out, some bigs. And another thing, too, is we have to bring it up. Just because we have to, I think. We wouldn't be a sports talk show if we didn't. Will Draymond Green foul out? Will he cause some controversy? Or will he be even-keeled and help his team more so than hurt his team? It's an interesting matchup. Yeah. This is, I think New Orleans and Los Angeles is a good game, but I think of the two games playing tonight, my money would be on Sacramento and Golden State for the better game of the two. I could be wrong, but that's just my prediction. My final thoughts on who I think is going to win this game and advance. I will go, Jay, with I'll go Golden State. I'll go Golden State.
Okay.
It's a tough. This is really a tough.
It would be tough, or no, it wouldn't be tough. It would be easy if this was the same or if this was a Golden State team from a year or two back.
Correct.
But this Golden State team is just in a disarray, and so it really makes it look a lot easier for Sacramento this go around versus when Golden State was really Golden State and not. And I got to be honest with you, I think this dynasty of Golden State is just done. I think.
I understand.
The only one that really has any value left on that team, truthfully, the only one that really has any value is Curry. I think you'll give Wiggins a little bit of value, but Curry's really the only one with the value. Everybody else is just like, if you look at their bench don't even look like their bench from the dynasty years. Like, they redid everything in their bench.
That's a bunch of guys who, if you don't follow the team, you wouldn't know who they are.
You wouldn't.
If you don't closely
if you didn't look at the starting five and all you looked at was the bench, there's only like two players left on that bench, Logan, from last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think Looney is one of them, and I forget the other one.
Yeah, it's a completely different ball club, but we'll see what happens. So we'll go ahead and finish it out west, right? We'll go ahead and finish our play-in tournaments here. So I would have Golden State taking on New Orleans, right? That's how it would be in the play-in tournament. The winner of number 9 versus the loser of number 7-8. So Of that one, though, I would go with the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans. I think they've just had a better season. I think that they're a stronger team, and I don't know, man. I trust. I believe in Golden State to get one win. I don't know if they could advance another round against New Orleans, who I think is a really good team.
Yeah, I could definitely see Sacramento versus OKC, and I could definitely see Denver versus New Orleans.
Those are two really good matchups too.
Yeah, that's definitely how I see that playing out. And I got to be honest with you, this Denver team ain't who they used to be either.
Even though they are a number 2 seed.
I mean, they are number 2 seed, but they don't look like they looked last year. Something's off. Something is off in Denver. I don't see Denver taking it this year, but man, I don't know.
Right.
We will see.
So let's go out east. Let's talk about the East play-in games. Both those matchups are going to take place on Wednesday night. First game, we're going to have the Miami Heat taking up the Philadelphia 76ers. Wow. Talk about both these teams falling out of nowhere. Obviously, we know Philadelphia was absolutely crushed with Joel Embiid out for a large portion of the season.
Of course.
And
it will go well.
And for the Heat, they just never really found their footing, it feels like, man. They never got it going. So tomorrow night, Wednesday, 7 o'clock is the start time for this one. Who would you go with? Would you go Philadelphia or Miami to get the win in advance to taking on the New York Knicks?
Yeah, one of the things I like about this is Jimmy Buckets versus his old team. That always just gets me pumped, man, because – he didn't really do what he could have done out there in the 76ers. I felt like the Sixers just didn't be right by Jimmy Buckets. But, when I look at this team and I look at their depth chart, and I look at the guys that they have, and I look at a guy like Maxey and a guy like Lowry, and I always just automatically I'm just thinking like, yeah, that's exactly who I want in my guard spots because that's a lot of knowledge, it's a lot of experience, and it's a lot of talent. I really like that. I like that guard spot. And then they got Cameron Payne coming off the bench if they need him at that point guard spot. So definitely very. And then they got Buddy Hield for crying out loud. They had to put him at the shooting guard spot. So they got good number ones and they got good bench number 2s to play that guard spot. And then you look at Oubre. Buddy Hield can obviously play there too. And then you got Tobias Harris and obviously day-to-day Joel Embiid. I mean, this team has a lot of talent on it. They should be able to beat Miami, to be honest with you. They should.
They should.
But I'm going to call it like it always is in old sunny Philadelphia. Miami going to get that win. Miami going to get that win. And I'm just and don't look at me like I'm crazy because you know that the 76ers, something always goes wrong for those guys. I don't know if it's an injury issue, if it's just not performance issue, but whatever reason, like this team is cursed. They really are. The Sixers are freaking cursed, man. And I just think they're going to be out in the first round, Logan. I don't think they get past the play-in, be honest with you.
It's a tough call, right? Because notoriously, Miami is a struggling team during the regular season. But in the playoff, their team as a whole just becomes godlike. We saw, the run to the finals, the crazy playoff moments they've had just in recent years. But I am going to go back to what I said about the Sacramento and Golden State series. It's going to be the winner of down low. It's going to be Joel Embiid, Bam Adebayo. And I'm sure, as you would call it, Jay, the Charmin Bowl, because I know you're not a fan of either of these players. I know that you're not.
Yeah. And by the way, Logan, I did want to point out that Duncan Robinson is out, and so is Rozier. Rozier is also out. So I think Tyler's going to be playing the point, and I think Patty Mills will probably pick up the shooting guard spot. And you can even reverse those guys if you had to. But I think Tyler Hero is going to take the point, and I think Patty Mills will take up that shooting guard spot, and then of course we'll have the regular other guys after that.
Yeah.
And that could be a game changer with Rozier out. You know, I mean, I just don't think so. I think they're good.
So when I look at this, I think that when you look at these two teams, for me, Jay, I don't know if there's a hotter team right now than the Sixers. They've won 8 straight.
Yeah.
They are smoking hot coming into this game.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be Joel Embiid who helps them the most in this game, in the play-in game. I think it's going to be Tyrese Maxey. Because
Maxey is a hell of a good talent over there.
Saw,
he really
Jay,
is.
that whenever Embiid went down, yes, the team struggled. That's obvious. When your MVP is out, your team's not going to do nearly as good. But he has been the consistent number 2 player on that team for quite some time. So for that reason, I'm going to go with the Sixers getting the win in this one and moving on to take on the New York Knicks, which is also going to be a nice matchup. So then that would put, for me, the Miami Heat going into the final play-in game as the loser. And let's talk about the final game here. Final play-in game, and then we'll just talk about general playoff and not who we think is going to win everything. We'll save that for another show. My hometown, Jay, Georgia, Atlanta, Peach State. The Atlanta Hawks.
Even though you're a Raiders fan, which I'll never understand how you go outside your own state.
That is my father right there. That is my dad.
And that's the only reason I'm not giving you a hard time is because you mentioned your father. And had you not mentioned your father, Rogan, I would have roasted your ass a long time ago.
I've told you this story, Jay. My dad grew up watching the Raiders back in the 60s and back in the late 60s, early 70s in his youth. And then back when they were dominating, must be nice. And then I never really watched a whole lot of football growing up, honestly. And he was just like, hey, he just had it on one day. He's like, hey, that's my favorite team. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's my favorite team, too. So that's just how it went. But anyways, back to the play in here. The Atlanta Hawks and the Chicago Bulls. Boy. This is probably going to be the worst of the play-in games in terms of just a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
I'll let you start off. And
my dissertation. Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh. We talked about 3 really good play-in games, and now we get kind of the ugly stepchild.
Yeah, Mike Hughes is probably getting his high hopes up over there.
Brother,
right now. But one thing I also do know about Mike is a realist, and I know he's getting his hopes up, but I know in the back of Mike's mind he's also thinking like, look, man, come on, let's just take this in stride because I don't think we're going to make it. And again, that's just a professionalistic attitude of Mike Hughes. He's really good, man. Even with his own team, he'll tell you exactly what he thinks. Golly, Logan. Atlanta and Chicago, man.
Mm-hmm. It's
I'm gonna rock with Atlanta on this. I just don't know that this Bulls team is really going to be able to get it done. I don't know if I believe in this Bulls team. I think it's more of a belief thing than anything else. So I'm definitely going to go Atlanta in this.
Yeah.
I still think there's a lot left to be proven in Atlanta, even though I will tell you that Chicago is heavily favored, like something like 60% to like 39%, right? I mean, these guys are like heavily favored in it.
I don't really understand the heavy favorite.
I don't either. I mean, and you can't always go by that kind of stuff, but I thought it was kind of crazy how, I do look at the favorites and not favorites, right, in terms of percentages, but I tell you with a grain of salt. But these guys have gone so far right at 60 to like 39 that it makes me think, damn, are they really that hardcore on the Bulls, Logan?
Especially with the amount of injuries the Bulls have, let's not forget about that. We know that they've been without Zach LaVine. Andre Drummond's day-to-day. Patrick Williams has been out for the year. Julian Phillips is out. Lonzo Ball's out. Oya Dusala, and don't get me wrong, Atlanta's got some injuries as well. And a lot of guys rest the other day, but you've got some guys who are hurt. Onyeka Okongwu's not going to make it. Jalen Johnson's not going to make it. So it's really just two teams hobbling into this game. You're not getting
Kobe. Hey, you tell me you got a team of Kobe White,
and DeMar DeRozan,
Jalen Terry, Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic. When you tell me that's your starting five, and that DeSumo is out with injury, Andre Drummond is out with injury. Nah, this Chicago team is not going anywhere. I will tell you that all day, every day. If Atlanta loses this series, Logan, your team is not even worthy of being called doo-doo. You're like something below doo-doo. Something below that.
Is that regulation for they get kicked out of the league? That should be for the worst records, not for the players.
Good Lord.
When I look at this team, when I look at this matchup, the Hawks and the Bulls, it certainly is a game, Jay. Yes, it is. These two teams will be playing a basketball game. I would say it's all about who's going to stop the most points, but let's be real. Both these teams, they don't really stop a lot of points.
But you're still better than my Rockets.
Yeah, not by much. So last 10 games, the Bulls, they're 5-5. They're getting about 114 points, and they're giving up 113. Meanwhile, for the Hawks, good Lord, just crawling into the playoffs, scoring 112, 3-7. They've been giving up 120. Now, I know, Trey hasn't played a whole lot since he's came back. It's just kind of been a revolving door for guys for the most part. It's mostly just been DeJounte Murray and whoever else has a decent night is how it's been going.
Yeah.
But I like Trae Young, obviously, in the playoffs. He's shown before that he can have good moments and hot moments. He's also shown he can have cold moments in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know which version we're going to see yet. I'm hoping for the hot version, but I was texting the other day, Jay, and I told someone, I said, if the Hawks win this game, that's a success. If they just win this game, that's the success for the season. And that's not saying much considering this team's 36-46, for God's sake. So I'll go with Atlanta getting the win in a putrid ball game, 147-146. I don't know, dude. There's going to be no defense in this one. The Hawks, they can't guard a traffic cone. Bulls aren't a whole lot better. But I'll just go with Atlanta. I'll have Trae Young scoring a lot of points. I'll have DeMar DeRozan also putting up a lot of points. But I like DeJounte Murray. He's had a good season overall. And I think ultimately that's going to be the deciding factor in this game. So, Jay, with just about a minute and a half, 2 minutes or so left, any other final thoughts you want to say about the play-in games or getting geared up for the playoffs that are coming up in just a little while? I did see now that Giannis, he might miss a couple of games, Jay, in that opening series against Indiana.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Yeah, I saw that as well. I have very low expectations for the Bucks this season. I really do. I have very low expectations.
That's the Doc River effect, baby.
Man, you're not lying. And to be honest with you, in regards to the play-in, I am actually more excited to watch the West play-in than I am the East play-in, Logan, to be honest with you.
No, I'm with you. I am with
you.
And
I think it's because of for several different reasons. Number one is the Lakers are there, and that means Frankie is there, and I just want to see his heart get crushed one more time while his Yankees are doing extremely well, and my Astros are not. So I can't have them on too much happiness. So I really am pulling hardcore for the Pelicans to beat the Lakers. I'm pulling hardcore for that.
And we will see what happens playing games tonight and tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday. If you're watching this on Sunday on Roku, on Northeast Streaming Sports, you can see if we're right or if we're wrong. As always, Jay McLovin, appreciate you coming on the show, my friend. I'm your host and producer, Logan Landers. Guys, go and watch some NBA basketball.